Hola amigos y amigas, este es un aporte ciudadano para un voto consciente e informado para las elecciones 2016 en el Perú. La falta de identidad da comentarios como los que vamos a escuchar. Toda cultura tiene aspectos positivos y negativos, y se va desarrollando y mejorando. Los habitantes de los países modernos no desprecian su cultura, la tratan de mejorar.
Jewish Education in Media is pleased to present L'Chaim, a program that highlights the people, issues, and events of importance to the Jewish community. Now here is your host, Rabbi Mark Golub.
I'm Mark Golub, and I have the honor of sitting with the man who may become the next president of Peru, Julio Guzmán, who's already twice served as deputy prime minister in the Peruvian government. Currently, Julio is a vice minister of industry in the government of President Humala. You should know that Julio Guzmán has some profound connections to the United States. His wife is an American. She's also Jewish. And he earned both his master's and his doctorate at U.S. universities, with a master's from Georgetown University Public Policy Institute and a PhD in public policy from the University of Maryland. Before becoming a major figure in the Peruvian government, Julio worked for 10 years in Washington, D.C. with the Inter-American Development Bank, the IDB. And Julio Guzmán has long been extremely involved in helping to address the needs of the poor and the effects of globalization on the poor. And Julio Guzmán, it is so wonderful to have you at this table. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me here. I'm really, really happy.
Thank you. Why are you in the United States these days?
Well, I'm having several meetings here for the campaign purposes, to meet new people, to make new connections, to try to gain support for my candidacy. And I am running for president of Peru. The elections are going to be in April 2016. So it's really important for me to meet new people, and particular people who support the principles I support.
Mm-hmm. Now, I understand there are likely to be 4 other candidates, something like that, who may run in this election. And many of them have been already past presidents of Peru, correct?
That's right.
Okay. Does this put you at some kind of disadvantage?
Well, it depends on how you see that, because it's true that the 3 of them are on the top, but the 3 of them are involved in corruption cases. Indeed, the Peruvians right now are really sensitive to what happened in the country. Corruption has achieved really high levels, and now 60% of the population, according to the recent polls, are saying that they don't want to vote for any of those 3. So that means that they are waiting for someone new. Mm-hmm. And this is the place that I would like to take. My candidacy was launched publicly. My campaign started 2 years ago, but my candidacy was published just 2 months ago, and I already have 1% of the votes. Mm-hmm. And I am now in the 5th and 6th position in the polls. Mm-hmm. So that means that the potential my candidacy has is really, really significant because of the circumstances.
Mm-hmm. My understanding is that the election that's to take place in April decides, in essence, the 2 front runners who then run again. Is that correct?
That's right. We have a second round. The first one is the 2 first, and then the second round to decide who is going to be the winner.
So your challenge is to come in at least second?
Exactly.
Okay. Who's supporting you in Peru?
Well, there is, according to our studies, young people in Peru are the most excited about our candidacy.
Young people?
Young people and women. And why? Why? Because the candidates that are running now are pretty, they have been former presidents. They have a very old vision of what Peru should be. And the only one who is a young one, who has been studied abroad, who has this international perspective, and who wants to be the bridge between the past and the future of Peru, is my case.
Yes.
So this is wonderful, because young people in Peru have a different kind of mindset, not only because they are young, but because we need to understand that Peru comes from a very, very difficult times. We live in terrorism, we have instability, we had huge percentage of poverty, 60% 30 years ago. So people from all generations are survivors, and survivors think differently about the world. Young people in Peru are not only important because they are young, but because they experience economic growth in the last 10 years. That means that they start believing in themselves. That believes that they are not improvising, but they are planning ahead. So they are ready to take the step to the future. They don't want these old guys who think about the past and they have been survivors. They want a nation that wants to progress. In that circumstance, a candidacy like mine fits perfectly with them.
I don't know really much about, I don't know anything about Peruvian government and Peruvian politics. I know nothing about, my imagination is nobody watching JBS right now has a clue of what Peruvian politics are about. But in America, we know how politics works. You know, most Americans have a very dim view of American politicians. Politicians worldwide right now are suffering a real crisis of confidence in terms of the way their electorates, their populists view them. But we also know that politics needs money. If you run for any office here in the United States, you need money, money, money. And money, people are very upset with the extent to which money rules politics today. I'm assuming there's something similar in Peru. I'm assuming if you run for president, you need enough financial support. And I'm wondering where you feel your financial base is in Peru. And then you are honest to say one of the reasons why you're visiting the United States is to also try to garner support here in America. But tell me about where in the world, who's supporting you financially, and where are you in facing that problem?
Okay, so one of the challenges we are facing now is the financial issue. And why? Because of two reasons. The first one is because we don't want to be conditioned to any business or industry in Peru. Because one of the problems in corruption in Peru is that most politicians are already involved to those businesses. So if I really want to do something different, I wanted to be independent in that way. So when I started thinking about this project, I was thinking I need to look for help abroad. Why? Because abroad, particularly in my experience in Washington, D.C. and the United States, there are people who want to support good causes. They are not linked financially to Peru, but they are linked because of principles. They want to support principles and values. And that's really strange in countries like Peru, in which businesses are business-oriented and that's it. So I started this several months ago to come to find friends in the US, friends who understand that I've been living in the States. I was educated here. My family is American, but my family is also Jewish. And I have values that I'm not going to change. And it's incredible, but ironically, I think I will find more friends here than in my own country in this stage. And the second reason is that I need to go up in the polls in order to be like a realistic, for Peruvians, option. But, it's incredible that they made an analysis of my candidacy and they cannot see the potential and the future that I have. It's incredible how many times I came to the US and I find more open doors than I found in my own country. So this is the short vision perspective that I was told you about. Peru has been lived under so intense, difficult times in the last 30 years that the mentality of the Peruvians that now own the businesses are really like flat. And we don't want that in Peru. My support is for young people that unfortunately they don't have the money right now, but they are the base of the voters. 60% of the voters in Peru are people under 40 years. So that's the potential. I've been in the public for 2 months and I have achieved much more support than people that are 20 years in politics. So I want people that not only share my values and my principles, but also see the potential that I have for a country, for Peru. I'm going to be the first president in Peru, Mark, the first one, not only with my age, but also who supports civil rights. It's going to be the first pro-civil rights